is Terrence Copper, NFL veteran.
It's your boy Ducey.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Vert Supreme.
DJ Johnson, wide receiver for East Carolina University.
This is Jordan Adams with the Los Angeles Angels.
Packard, baseball player for the Detroit Tigers, and you're watching Good Talk.
Good talk.
Good talk.
Good talk.
It's good talk.
I never let you down. Shine on sight.
Time.
On the grind and off of mine's all right. Hard out
Y'all
the ball
motherfuckers
on the
miss me
squares.
or what?
I floating $250,000 cars everywhere.
I'm sorry.
I know.
Just put it this way. I ain't giving y'all a whole long speech like I did last time, cause I reneged on my word already. So we ain't gonna go back to that shit. But just know we lit as a bitch, nigga. What up? Hey.
All your lies, boy, you bug just died. Step aside, super fly, took the shoes and they cool. Then exit out with all the bitches like we always do.
Let me get my levels right. Hey,
it's
been a minute. I ain't been in this motherfucker in a minute. I gotta get my levels right. I ain't gonna hold you. I feel like I'm loud as a bitch. What up?
On the screen, it's a drought of real niggas in the game, so insane. Pretend to holler, pimp and get a shit a black.
I gotta let this shit rock because it's been such a long time. I ain't gonna lie, like it's been such a long time, man. Long time coming. But I'm back, and I came back right for football season. My niggas already trying to tell me like that's the only sport I covered. No, that's not true. A lot of transition going on right now. If you haven't noticed, matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and plug this shit right now. Subscribe to the G2S Network on YouTube, because if you're not subscribed right now, you can't even imagine what you're missing. Cause I ain't gonna lie, everything we've been dropping the last 3-4 months consecutively, movie, viral, bow, what up? I don't know if I'm loud or not. Hey, if I'm loud, forgive me, cause we're gonna fix it. We're gonna work out all the kinks and everything. Gotta get locked back in, that's it, but listen to Tip, man. Tip gonna explain it for me. What up?
But no matter what they doing, they don't do it like me. Like a G.
That's no cap. That's no cap. Niggas can't do this shit like me. I ain't gonna lie. Niggas shouldn't even really give it a shot. No cap. Last month and a half, I've been the hardest working man in this bitch. No kidding. Me and my team been turned. Hey, me and my team been turned. I gotta take the first couple minutes to pop my shit, man. Fuck what y'all niggas talking about. We gonna get to the good shit. We gonna talk about Aaron Rodgers and how frustrated he looked on Sunday against Minnesota. We gonna talk about last night how LA folded. Justin Herbert getting his shit absolutely cracked. We gonna talk about all of that. Trust me. We gonna talk about all of it because I'm back. What up?
Clearly I ain't hearing your voice. Keep it up and I'ma send your ass to deal when I enjoy. Hey, you can have the bottom partner. I'm up in the sky.
I know what the problem is. That's why she ain't coming through right. There we go. Hey, we got somebody new on the a part of the G2S podcast, the Good Talk podcast. What up, Rod? You know? Hey, I'm gonna have that nigga doing research. Time. But I'm so happy, yo. Hey, I'm so happy to be back. I feel like I said, I feel like for one, I let y'all down, but like I said, I'm not even gonna go into that whole speech because it ain't no point. Because you can only say something so many times. But I'm so happy to be back, man. Listen, so I gotta let the music just keep rocking. Just bear with me. I promise. Just bear with me. It won't be like this every week. I promise. I swear to God.
Smoking a bag full of that gas, almost lost my lung. I don't smoke trash, need to
gas my ass. Yeah.
1600, got a couple ops in the city.
I gotta get my fucking level right, man. Oh, we good. We alright. We lit. Like I said earlier, welcome to the Good Talk podcast. Going with the same structure pretty much that we always have. Gonna go through some of our scores. We'll talk about week 1. I know I'm a little behind. Gonna try to start recording a little bit earlier in the week. You know, we got FPFO going on, Good Life going on. So we just gotta get the scheduling right. Once we get the scheduling solidified, you know what time it is. I mean, we locked. Just know that we locked in. On the other side. Welcome to the Good Talk Podcast, man. I am your host, JJ. You've been rocking with us, this whole time since February, because February was the last time we recorded, so it's been a minute. Yeah, that sounded a lot better. February was the last time we recorded. The last thing we talked about, which is so crazy, really, is the Super Bowl. That was the last thing we talked about. And thing about it is, we didn't even come in and review the Super Bowl. We ain't do shit. We just gave a preview, and that's on me. It ain't, I'll take responsibility for it. I'll eat it. It is what it is, but we back, so we ain't gonna dwell on that too much longer. Like I said again, welcome to the Good Talk Podcast. I am your host, JJ. As you heard in the beginning of the podcast, if you're listening on Spotify, if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel at the G2S Network. Instagram at Goodies and Two Shoes, at G2S Good Talk Pod, all of that, man. If you want to follow me at the Myth of JJ, there's an underscore in there somewhere, but if you just type that in, you'll find me. So, again, welcome back. It's been a long time coming. Like I said, we got somebody new on the production team, but y'all already familiar with them if you've been locked in. Shout out my nigga, man. He helped this shit come together, Look at him. I hate this nigga so much, bro. He be thinking he's so cute, bro. He be thinking he's so cute. But yeah, we're gonna jump right into it, man. We're gonna start with some of our scores. Matter of fact, I don't even know how I really want to start this. I don't even know how I really want to start this back up. I ain't gonna lie. We'll start with the score from last night in the NFL. We'll talk about some baseball, I guess, if that's really what y'all want to hear. I'm gonna give it to y'all just because it's just like, I'll give it to y'all. But y'all know why. Y'all know what I'm here to talk about, and it's the NFL. And when the NBA comes back around, that's what we're going to talk about, NBA. We'll talk about MLB, obviously, at this point, just because playoffs are right around the corner. It's only about 15 to 20 games left max. We have some guys chasing history. Albert Pujols, I think he hit 697 on his road to 700. Fourth all-time in MLB history in home runs. Aaron Judge and what he's doing, chasing the American League record for home runs. Then we have Paul Goldschmidt at his age, which is absolutely phenomenal, chasing the Triple Crown. So it's a lot going on in baseball, I will say that. Thing about it is, I just am not 100% sure that y'all want to hear that. Y'all want JJ to come in here and talk football, so that's what I'm going to do. But let's go through some of our scores from last night. So last night we had a big matchup in the AFC West. The Chiefs and Chargers squared off in Arrowhead. 27-24 advantage Kansas City Chiefs. Justin Herbert threw for 334, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He was sacked 2 times, and it was a scary moment for Chiefs fans. And later on in that fourth quarter, Justin Herbert, I can't remember who came around that damn edge, but Justin Herbert got lit up. I thought on impact, he had broken ribs. Me and Raul chilling, watching the game together. We both thought he was down bad, and I still think he's down bad. He could barely throw the football for a couple of plays after. On the third down, I believe it was, maybe second. I want to say third. I mean, he had everything he needed plus 6 or 7 yards more just to walk for a first down. He showed the inability to do that. So that's going to be something that we keep our eye on going forward, just based on the fact that if Justin Herbert goes down, in my opinion, that changes the whole dynamic of the AFC West and what that will potentially look like come week 10, week 11, week 12, when games start mattering a lot more. So something to think about. Austin Eckler ran 14 times for 39 yards. We've yet to see him go off. But Mike Williams, on the other hand, with Keenan Allen suffering the injury in week 1 against the Las Vegas Raiders. Keenan Allen, again, was out. Mike Williams went absolutely crazy. 8 catches, 113 yards, and a touchdown. Every pass he caught, tight window, didn't matter. He still made the play. But moving on to the winning team, the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, 235 for 2 touchdowns on 24-35 passing. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 74 yards on 8 rushes. They have to get him the football more. It's just that simple. They have to let Clyde Edwards-Helaire touch the football much more than he's doing. Same thing with the Carolina Panthers, but this isn't the podcast for that. So, we'll talk about that again come Tuesday or Wednesday on FPFO. Travis Kelce, 5 catches for 51 yards, no touchdowns. Pat really just spread the ball around. Catches from Mecole Hardman, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Watson. I don't even know who the hell that is. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Jared McKinnon also had to catch for a touchdown. Juju Smith-Schuster, 3 catches for 10 yards. So like I said, Pat just spreading the ball around. What he does best, just getting the ball, going right down the field because he doesn't care. You can't stop him. There's nothing that you can do. We're going to dive a little bit into that game as we go further on in the podcast. So again, the final there was 27-24. The Chiefs currently have the advantage in the AFC West, the only remaining team in that division that is still undefeated. Moving on to some baseball from last night, and then we'll kind of backstep, go back to week 1, talk about a little bit more NFL, talk about some news, and then we'll go, how we usually do with the news highlights and things of that nature, because we got a lot to talk about because, the Phoenix Suns owner is fucking sick as hell. But that's neither here nor there. So last night in baseball, check that. My apologies. Cardinals and Reds. The Reds ended up with the win, 3-2. Cardinals have been playing phenomenal baseball. I want to say they're first in the NL Central right now. That game means nothing to them, in my opinion. They're going to keep winning baseball games. They have a phenomenal team. Again, Albert Pujols chasing that 700th home run. I think he's going to get it. And if he doesn't get it this year, I think Albert should come back, play 1 or 2 games next year, hit that 700 home run, retire in the middle of that bitch. Because who cares? You're a legend. Do what you want. AL East action. Tampa Bay did beat the Blue Jays 11-0. Let's take a look right now at what the current standings are for that. Blue Jays are in 5th. Tampa Bay is in 6th. So this series, I'm not sure how many games they have remaining, but this series is huge for the playoff picture. Again, it's only a couple more games left in the baseball season. I want to say 15 to 20 games left, which in baseball terms is not that many. So whoever's going to make a play needs to make a play ASAP, because you have the Orioles who are 4.5 games back, which may seem like a lot, but if you get cold, you're easily going to get clipped and you're not going to make the playoffs. So right now, currently in the American League, Houston is number 1, New York is number 2, Cleveland is 3, Seattle is 4, Toronto is 5, Tampa Bay is 6, and Baltimore is 7. Like I said, sitting at 4.5 games back. And for the National League, we have the Dodgers, Mets, Cardinals, Braves, Phillies, Padres, Brewers, and then Giants sitting at the 8th spot. The Brewers are in the 7th spot, a game and a half behind the Padres currently. I saw something on Twitter actually probably about 30 to 45 minutes ago. The Padres are still waiting for Juan Soto to heat up. I think his last 15 games he's been hitting .067 batting average, which is just absolutely horrendous. So I think he's going to heat up. I think Manny Machado is going to be able to continue to do his thing. I think the Padres are going to get into the playoffs, and I think they're going to sleep and clip whoever they have to face. I'm not going to lie. Matchup 1, if they have to play the Dodgers, yes, the Dodgers are 98-44. That's great. They're playing phenomenal baseball. But I think that the Padres, I'm just sold on the Padres. They play great baseball. They have a relatively solid rotation pitching-wise. So we're going to see how things go as that shakes out. And then, like I said, as time goes on more so, we'll talk more baseball as the playoffs come around. I just personally don't like talking about regular season baseball because there's so many moving parts, so many different things as the season goes throughout. 100 and whatever the fuck, 62 games, 180 games, 162, I think, in the baseball season. So it's just so much going on. As it dies down, as we get into the playoffs, that's when we'll talk more about baseball. Let's retract a little bit or retrace our steps just a bit back to the NFL, because this particular episode will be extremely NFL centered. So that's what we're gonna do. Broncos beat the Seahawks 17-16. That was a matchup. Russell Wilson, his return back to Seattle, they did not receive him warmly. I will say that. That to me was surprising. To me, bitch, you need to be grateful because he brought you a Super Bowl, and had it not been for Pete Carroll and the decision that he made on the 1-yard line, he would have brought you 2. You know, so yeah, maybe you hate the way he left or whatever may have you, but to show the disrespect Seattle did, I didn't like it. Nevertheless, they did win the game. Geno Smith played an absolutely phenomenal first half. Great to see him, you know, be successful and have the opportunity to get that playing time and be the starting quarterback for an NFL franchise. You know, you love to see it. Cowboys and Buccaneers 19-3. Again, we'll jump into a little more of this as the pod goes on. Chiefs Cardinals 44-21. Another game to highlight. Huge game in my opinion. Kind of nervous for the Green Bay Packers and the Cheeseheads in Wisconsin 23-7 in Minnesota. Then fucking wacky game. Pittsburgh against Cincinnati 23-20. Final in OT. Pittsburgh did end up winning that game. At what cost? The answer simply is at the cost of TJ Watt being out for 6 to 8 weeks. Najee Harris, you know, dealing with a nagging ankle injury. Has been reported that he's been dealing with that injury since, you know, the offseason, since preseason. Lynch Frank, all this and that. You know, we don't know what to believe because there's so many different stories coming out of Pittsburgh from different reporters and different, you know, sources. It's just going to be something to watch because if they don't have Najee Harris, if Pittsburgh does not have Najee Harris, the offense looked bad enough as is. The offense looked bad enough as is, given he did only play a limited amount of reps. I think he went out in the beginning of the second quarter or midway through the second quarter, something like that. So he was very limited. They still did get the win, but I'm not 100% sure that that's something that's going to be sustainable as we go on throughout the year. And then finally, the game Thursday that kicked off the NFL season, the Buffalo Bills and the Los Angeles Rams. Great game, in my opinion, to start the week off with. You know, you returning back to the NFL season, defending Super Bowl champions, and then a team that a lot of people would make an argument that they should have been in the AFC Championship had it not been for a couple of shaky NFL rules that we're not 100% sold on. But that's neither here nor there. Or it's not the AFC Championship, the Super Bowl, whatever game it was. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'll be forgetting a lot of when, what happened, when. We all know what game I'm talking about. The game, Pat Mahomes versus Josh Allen. Them two boys, they put on a show. Y'all know what game I'm talking about. So yeah, like I said, a lot of people will make an argument that given the rule changes or whatever may have you, or lack thereof, the Bills could have easily been a part of that Super Bowl or that AFC Championship game, whatever one, you know, was next. So, but that's what I have for that. We're going to go ahead and go over to our sports news, and then we'll move on to our goodie of the week, and then we'll go to who I have winning each division in the NFL this year. So Wednesday, I believe it was. Yeah, Wednesday, tennis star Roger Federer announced his retirement. The Swiss standout ends his career with the final record of 1,251 wins and only 275 losses, with 103 of those being title victories. You know, one of the best male tennis players we've ever seen. We've currently lost 2, you know, generational talents due to retirement. You know, but it's time. It's time. He's given everything he has to the game. Serena's the same as that thing, which the other person that I was referring to, if you didn't know, Serena Williams did call it quits after going down in her most recent match. But yeah, Roger Federer, round of applause for him. Outstanding career. Like I said, 1251 and 275 is absolutely crazy, no matter what sport you're playing. So, you know, it was an honor and a pleasure just to get to see him, you know, perform at his peak in his craft. So, great to see. In football news, Seattle Seahawks All-Pro safety Jamal Adams will have season-ending surgery. Jesus Christ, I'm stuttering over here. All of that, but yeah, season-ending surgery for All-Pro safety Jamal Adams. Torn quad. It's unfortunate, man. It really is. It's unfortunate for Jamal Adams. You hate to see it. It's unfortunate for the Seattle Seahawks. He's only been able to play 2 seasons in whole out of his 6. So it's something that you hate to see, but it's almost like, you know, Jamal Adams is one of those guys that unfortunately at some point you expect him to get hurt just throughout the season, just because the most recent things that we've seen over the last 4 years is him being hurt and him not being able to compete with his teammates. And it's like I said, it's unfortunate, it's sad. Wishing Jamal Adams a speedy recovery. I hope, he comes back 10 times better. He works 10 times harder, et cetera, et cetera. But at this very moment, I'm not sure what that means for Seattle and that defense because, yeah, they played good against Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos or whatever may have you. But we know who's in that division. In that same breath, we know who's in that division. So I don't think Seattle has a shot to really make any noise at all. They're like a 6 or 7 win team to me at best. Geno Smith was your starting quarterback. With all due respect, Geno is not that. So this kind of just adds to the list of problems that Seattle has, in my opinion. And then, of course, this past week, the biggest story of them all, in my opinion, Robert Sarvar, the owner of the Phoenix Suns and the Phoenix Mercury, was fined $10 million and suspended for 1 year based on investigation led by Wachtell Lipton that discovered misconduct in the workplace, including, and I quote, using the N-word at least 5 times, as well as making sexual comments towards female employees and sexually suggestive actions towards numerous male employees. I mean, that's why I said earlier, the shit is just sick, bro. Shit is just sick, really. It's crazy to me that he only got a 1 year suspension. That, to me, is absolutely preposterous. I mean, nothing that, came out of that investigation was a positive for the NBA, nor the WNBA. Nothing was a positive for those particular franchises. Nothing at all positive came out of this. The fact that he only got fined $10 million and suspended only for a year, to me, that's a slap on the wrist. He should have been forced to sell his team. Both of them. Both of them. It's just that simple. That's the problem right now in the sports world, is the fact that these guys fuck up. It's the same thing with Deshaun Watson, and I'm not going to get into that too much because to me that story is old news. I don't want to be repetitive. We were talking about that 7, 8, 9 months ago, the last time we were here. So I don't want to be repetitive about it. But it's the same thing in that instance. When you show people that they can get away with bullshit, why wouldn't they do bullshit? And this is exactly what it is. It's a prime example. Robert Sarvar, slap on the wrist, 1 year. No, he should have been forced to sell his team. Chris Paul felt the same exact way. LeBron James felt the same exact way. Numerous other athletes, player personnel, coaches, staff all throughout the NBA, WNBA, all athletes throughout every sport that you can think of really has something to say about Robert Sarvar and his actions. And typically, and generally, the overwhelming majority of people are saying that this was a slap on the wrist, and ultimately he should have been hit with a disciplinary action that was a little more harsh. And I mean, I can't say that I don't agree. I really can't. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. I think that, for me personally, I think that there's a good amount of outrage, enough amount of outrage for the NBA to come down a bit harsher. And I think that we will see within the next 6 to 8 months, Robert Sarvar being forced to sell his team. Both of them. I do. I think that'll end up happening, but we'll see. Who knows? I mean, sports are very, very interesting when it comes to stuff like that. Like I said, we saw it with the Deshaun Watson case. He only gets 11 games for all of the accusations that he faced. Though you can make an argument for either side that you believe, however you feel. But in that same breath, again, a slap on the wrist. 11 games? What is 11 games? When he got all of the money that he got guaranteed from the Cleveland Browns. So, it is what it is. I mean, it's been proven time and time again that sports really don't give a fuck about issues like this. They'll give you a commercial, they'll make a statement, they'll do this and that This goes for pretty much every league. And really, it hasn't been a problem in the NBA, in my opinion, that much. Because we saw what happened with Donald Sterling. What's my man's name? That's his name? From the LA Clippers. He was forced to sell his team. They got his ass gone. So it hasn't been a problem with the NBA. It's more so we've seen it more so with the NFL situations like this. But now the NBA is taking this stance on Robert Sarvar. And it really shocked me. But it didn't surprise me. I'll be honest. It didn't surprise me because it's just like, yo, at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for your pockets. And that's just what we're seeing here for the NBA. I truly believe that. So we'll see how that goes. But that is all that I have right now for our sports news. So we're going to move on to our game of the week. Obviously, we're not going to do a game of the week recap from last week because we weren't here last week. There was no game of the week to be had. So we'll just pick back up from week 1 or week 2 in the NFL. Transparently, if I'm just being honest with y'all, the game of the week this week would have been, had we recorded, based on the schedule that we initially set or whatever may have you, the game of the week this week would have been the Bills and Chargers. But I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to cheat it like that. There's numerous games that could and should have been considered for our game of the week, but we ultimately did find one. Our game of the week this week is going to be the Bills and the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go ahead and say it now. I have the Bills winning by 5. A lot of y'all may feel like that spread is not hefty enough. For me personally, I don't know what happened with Tennessee this past week because I did go back and rewatch that game. Also watched the Buffalo Bills game against the LA Chargers, how they just absolutely came out and dominated that football game. So I've watched both teams this year, what they've put on tape, what they put on film, et cetera, et cetera. And I think this will be a close game. Tennessee, they folded last week against New York. They were punching them in the mouth. I think it was like 13-0, 16-0, one of those two at the end of the first half, and really they just let off the gas. If you come out and you don't let off the gas like that, Tennessee blows New York out. In my opinion, the New York Giants had absolutely no business at all competing with the Tennessee Titans this past week. And to me, that was just a lack of effort, lack of experience, so to speak, as well. You're down. You don't have A.J. Brown anymore. You do have Derrick Henry, whatever may have you. But when a guy named Kyle Phillips leads your team in targets, that's kind of putting you on to what is going on in that offense, et cetera, et cetera. So I do think this is going to be the game of the week. I do feel as though it will be a close game. I got Josh Allen, though. Give me Josh Allen. 9 times out of 10. 9.5 times out of 10, really. I'm going to take Josh Allen against everybody in the NFL, no matter who it is. Because we saw what he did when he faced up against Pat. And that's who y'all all want to make y'all's number one quarterback. We saw what he did against Pat last year, and he picked right back up this year where he left off. So, give me the Bills by 5, but that will be our game of the week. We saw the Bills dominate again Thursday. We saw what happened with Tennessee against New York. It'll be a good game. I have the Bills winning. And you definitely have to tune in. Let me make sure I have this right. I believe that game is Monday night. Yeah, Monday night at 7:15 on ESPN. We actually have 2 Monday night games this week, which is pretty interesting. I typically don't like when they do that because the games collide with each other and it's primetime football. So it's just like, why not maximize, your dollars by putting 2 games at 2 separate times and making us, the consumer, watch 2 different games and pay y'all 2 different amounts of money, or get paid double the ad dollars or whatever may have you for different time slots. But that's above my pay grade, as people would say. So I'm going to let that be. But 7:15, we do have the Titans and Bills. That will be on ESPN. And then we have the Vikings and Eagles as well at 8:30 on ABC. So that Monday night will be a very interesting night. I'll be tuned in. I don't plan on missing either one of those games. I'll have them both set up. If y'all won't be able to see it, but I'm in the studio right now. I'm in the office. I got the big screen right here and the little screen right here. So I'm going to be tuned in no matter what, either way. So, But yeah. Let's see what's next on the docket. We're just gonna go ahead and go to our goodie of the week. Again, this isn't a typical podcast. I know, things ain't flowing as easy and stuff like that as they usually do, but we're just gonna keep going again. Let's go ahead and go to our goodie of the week. Goodie of the week this week is Baby by Nav. That was Baby by Nav, and again, that was our goodie of the week. All right, man, let's get into this a little bit. And today I'm going to try not to be long-winded because my cameraman / producer / set man, nigga acting like he about to die of starvation. So, he ain't ate all day, so I'm gonna be a good friend before everything. Be a good friend and let the nigga eat. So, I'm not going to be long-winded. We don't have mailbag this week just because y'all didn't know I was coming back this week. I didn't say anything at all on any of the IG pages, no YouTube, no nothing. It wasn't, publicized, marketed that we were coming back. So we don't have mailbag, don't have an Ass Out award. We're just going to go through right now this week on who I think is going to win each division and why. Make it relatively quick. I want to spend maybe 15, 20 minutes max on it. Then we're going to wrap up. Then next week we'll be back to our scheduled programming. Everything will be back. Mailbag, Ass Out, Goodie of the Week, Best Thing I Saw, all of that good stuff. So we're going to get locked back then. But for right now, this is what we're going to stick with. Let's start right here. Who wins each division in the NFL this year? And unfortunately, it's kind of ass just simply based on the fact. Let me turn myself down because now I'm about to get locked down. I've been chilling. The mic been down. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and get locked down because now we going to chop it up. I just had to get back in my rhythm. So unfortunately, I kind of it's unfair to a certain degree, just based on the fact that I have seen each team play. I've been watching a shit ton of film on the NFL. I finally got the all 22, man. I've been thinking about getting all 22 for a while now. They have the NFL Sunday ticket or whatever may have you have that, but NFL made it extremely easy and extremely user friendly to have the all 22 view, which is something, like I said, that I've been addicted to since I've seen it the first time. And if you're not 100% sure on what it is, just look up all 22 NFL on YouTube or all 22 film, whatever may happen. But it'll come up. It'll come up and you'll see what I'm talking about. Long story short, I've been watching a shit ton of that since I got it at the beginning of this week on Tuesday. So like I said, all of that being said, I kind of have an unfair advantage, but at the same time I don't, because you can only judge a team so much off of a week one performance. Honestly, some of these picks might shock you. A lot of them, it'll be a close race in my opinion. This is just who I feel. Everything is opinionated. Y'all know how it is. I'm just going to give it to y'all real, how I feel it's going to go down. And really, if you look at my history, honestly, if you look at what I've done in the past based on predictions and things of that nature, shit, pretty much what I say is law. I ain't going to lie to you. I ain't going to hold you. But we're going to see. We're going to see. So let's get started. We'll start with a relatively competitive division. I think with the loss by Cincinnati this week against Pittsburgh, it kind of blurries the water a little bit. What's the right terminology that I'm looking for? Murks the water a little bit. I don't even know. It kind of, say it again? Muddy. Yeah, it muddies. Thank you. See, that's why I'm glad I got this nigga here, because he can help me out a lot. It muddies the water a little bit. I'm sorry. I hate doing this shit on YouTube. It muddies the water a little bit just based on the fact that that's a game, in my opinion, the Cincinnati Bengals shouldn't lose. The Pittsburgh Steelers simply, really, with all due respect, and I know I got a lot of Steelers fans that listen, a lot of Steelers fans, that close friends, got a Steelers fan in the room right now. So speak like you got some sense. I mean, you can say speak like I got some sense, but I'm going to just keep it 100. The Pittsburgh Steelers just simply are not good. It's just that simple. Their offense looked extremely subpar, and that's being generous. Their offense really transparently looked ass, even with Najee Harris present on the field. Defense, now I will say the defense looks phenomenal, but with the injury to TJ Watt, who knows what's going to happen with the defense? We'll have to take a close look at what they do this week, because he's the motor. He makes everything go. T.J. Watt is an absolute stud. In my opinion, I will go on the record and say this, and I know Cam Weaver, I know he'll get a little bit of an arousal when I say this, but T.J. Watt is simply the best defensive player in the NFL. You know, you can make an argument for Aaron Donald or whatever may have you. T.J. Watt is different. He's a dog. He makes that Pittsburgh Steelers defense go. So I want to see who's going to step up and become a leader. Minkah did have a hell of a game Sunday with the pick six. His stat line was just crazy. It wasn't just a pick six. It was a lot more to it than that. But with all of that being said, who wins the AFC North? In my opinion, I think Cincinnati will win it. Baltimore will be a close second. But I think Cincinnati has a lot of unfinished business to take care of. Now, I will say the Super Bowl hangover this past Sunday was real from Joe Burrow. He threw for, he had 4 interceptions. Let me take a look at what his official stat line was. What I do know is that he threw 4 interceptions. I believe he had 5 total turnovers. So that's not going to get it done. That was, like I said, extreme Super Bowl hangover from him. Let's take a look. 33 of 53, 338, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, quarterback rating of 61.7. So just, really garbage in my opinion. 20 incompletions, 53 passes total. The yardage, it's going to look good just simply based on the fact that he threw the ball so much. So it's not that difficult. Then when you take into account that he threw for 4 interceptions, that makes that stat line a lot more ugly. Or a lot uglier, excuse me. But like I said, I do feel as though Cincinnati will win that division. The Cleveland Browns will put up a fight. My whole thing with the Cleveland Browns is simply in that division, and we'll go division by division. My whole thing with the Cleveland Browns is simply that Jacoby Brissett cannot be your starting quarterback, and you make any noise divisionally or in the playoffs. That's just my honest opinion. Like we said earlier, we all know Deshaun Watson is out for the first 11 games of the season. So even when he does come back week 12, week 13, whatever may have you, that's going to be a decision that the Cleveland Browns organization, has to make. But we would assume that since they, guaranteed him all this money in the offseason, we would assume he's going to be on the field as soon as possible. Even with him coming into that situation, I don't know what position Jacoby Brissett will have the Cleveland Browns in. And even in that same breath, I don't think that even if he plays phenomenal football, I don't think that they'll be competing with Cincinnati and what they'll end up doing in the season, nor will they be competing with Baltimore. And that's another story. For the Baltimore Ravens, we know the whole story this offseason has been about Lamar Jackson and his contract. Lamar did say, I want to say Wednesday, he was completely done talking about it. So as a media personnel, stop asking him because he's not going to fucking answer anymore. Stop asking him about the contract. He wants to play football. He's made that known numerous times. I mean, this is probably the second or third year that Lamar Jackson, a discussion about his contract has come up, questions about if he was going to play or not, whatever may have you. So like I said, stop asking him. Stop asking him. He's going to be available. Lamar Jackson, to me, when he's healthy, he's a top 7 quarterback. You can debate with whoever you want to, but I'm not going to waste the time with you. You just got to be honest with yourself. You can't stop him in the ground game, and when he's locked in the passing game, he's very, very, very hard to beat. So the Baltimore Ravens, they will have a hell of a shot to win that division. I just don't think with the lack of offensive weapons that they have, of course they still have of course they still have Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, young guy. I think he's a second-year guy. Duvernay, I'm drawing a blank on his first name. They have Duvernay, J.K. Dobbins coming off of his torn ACL or Achilles, whichever one it was. So they have, they have a couple pieces here and there, but those pieces ain't Joe Burrow. And I say that with all due respect to Lamar Jackson because I do think that Lamar Jackson is better. But when you add these names up, that shit hits a little bit different because it's not Joe Burrow, it's not Joe Mixon, it's not T. Higgins, it's not Jamar Chase. Simple as that. And at that point, when you have all of those names on offense, you can give up however many points you want to give up defensively, and that offense will fight you back into a game. That offense will still compete. We saw it with Pittsburgh this past week. 4 interceptions from Joe Burrow, still went to overtime, and it took 2 or 3 missed field goals for Pittsburgh to end up pulling out that win. I think Cincinnati will turn it around, and I ultimately do feel as though Cincinnati will win that division. Let's move on. AFC East. For the AFC East, I mean, my answer is very cut and clear. The Buffalo Bills will win the AFC East. Really, in my opinion, you know, the Miami Dolphins, they look solid against New England, but that's not really saying much. Y'all know how I feel about Mac Jones. He ain't hitting on shit. Everybody gassed him because he made it to the playoffs last year. Cool, whoop-de-doo. End of the day, Mac Jones is not that. Tua, he's mid. So, you know, yeah, he has his weapons. Cedric Wilson, he had, you know, the addition to Tyreek Hill. He has those guys. But Miami will not be able to compete with Buffalo either. I think that this division will be over no later than week 12. No later than week 12. This division will be over. Everything will be decided. Josh Allen will, you know, ultimately come out as the AFC East champion once again. So I'm not even going to spend a long time on that, a lot of time at all. I feel how I feel. I don't think it's close. And really, if we want to really get freaky and get into it, I have the Buffalo Bills coming out of the AFC as a whole.
Shawty come kick it, she bringing her friends. Whoa, that nigga hot now. My niggas be getting the guap now. Pull up, we getting the bus and ain't up for discussion. Let's roll up a Russian. Lil' Shawty, she cute and she give me concussion. Young Mason, he told me to run it. Hey, I'm like, hold up.